Hey guys, today we're going to talk about dynamic warm-ups, what they are, why we do them, and how to make them most effective for our clients. So a dynamic warm-up is any type of movement or exercise that is movement-based. So dynamic literally means constant motion. So we are not going to stop, we are not going to hold or pause in any type of our dynamic movements or dynamic warm-up. So for example, if we were doing a lunge, we would do the entire lunge and come back. There's no holding and pausing, okay? It is going to be constant movement, okay? So dynamic literally means movement-based. So the purpose of a dynamic warm-up, we have this right here. It's kind of threefold. It's to increase body temperature, which will in turn make muscles more pliable. So think about a warm rubber band versus a cold rubber band. And I have a rubber band here as an example we are going to use. So let's say I have this normal rubber band. Let's think of this as our muscle. So if I were to take this rubber band and I were to put it in the freezer where it's cold, I take the rubber band out and I try to stretch it, what's going to happen? It's totally going to snap, right? Or it's not going to stretch very far without snapping, okay? Kind of like our muscles. Cold muscles aren't going to stretch very far. Now, if I take this rubber band and I put it in the microwave for, say, 10 or 20 seconds, take it out and try to stretch it, it's going to stretch really far, and it's going to go back to being tight, but not quite as tight as it was before. That's exactly how our muscles work after we have an increase in blood flow, increase in oxygenated blood to our muscles in order to get them to be able to do work, right? So the warm muscles versus cold muscles will not only help prevent injury, but it will make them more pliable, which in turn will make them ready and prepared for the exercise at hand, okay? So again, the second bullet point is to get the body ready for more intense exercise or prepare it for our athletic competition. So it doesn't matter what you're warming up for. You could be warming up to go play 18 holes of golf. You could be warming up to go take a 5-mile hike. You could be warming up just to go do a strength training workout in the gym. You could be warming up to take a kickboxing class. Or you could be warming up as a professional athlete, getting ready to partake in competition, right? It doesn't matter what you're warming up for. You still always need to warm up in order to increase that blood flow to the muscle to make them more pliable, to make you ready to compete, right? I'm not gonna ask you to get up right now from your chair and go run a 50-meter dash. It's not gonna be your best 50-meter dash, right? Usain Bolt isn't the fastest man in the world because he just gets out of his chair and goes and runs, right? He warms up first, and then he's going to run his fastest, whatever he runs, 20-meter dash, whatever, fastest man in the world, right? So the idea is that you need to be warm and prepare your body for competition. And by doing that, by doing a dynamic warm-up, you will help prepare yourself for that, okay? So how to implement a dynamic warm-up? It should always be performed before the activity. They are the warm-up, right? You should always be in constant motion, as I said, so constantly moving. There's no stopping, there's no pausing, there's no holding. A quality dynamic warm-up will make sure to warm up the specific muscles that you're going to be using for that sport. So we need to warm up total body no matter what we're doing. But very important that we focus on the muscle groups that are going to be at hand, right? So let's think about a boxer, right? Majority of the boxing movements are going to come from the upper body. However, their legs are super important to keep them moving, right? So while we primarily might be focusing on warming up the shoulders, the chest, the back, we also need to focus on the legs, okay? A dynamic warm-up should be about 5 to 8 minutes in length for most people. And dynamic stretches should be completed in the appropriate rep time distance for your sport. Okay? Think about an example. So let's say we're warming up the football team. Football field is in yards, right? So maybe we have our football team do lunges for 20 yards and lunges back for 20 yards. Then they do side shuffles for 20 yards and back, right? If we were on a basketball court, we're not going to have the client partake in yards for distance, right? We would be using full court or half court, right? Real easy to always use time as well. 30 seconds, 30-second jog followed by 30 seconds of high knees, followed by 30 seconds of jumping jacks, followed by 30 seconds of arm swings, right? Time is always an option as well, okay? So some examples of dynamic movements, and as I'm kind of talking about this, I'm sure you guys are like, oh yeah, I know a lot of dynamic exercises. So a simple jog in place, jumping jacks, high knees, arm circles, butt kickers, Frankenstein walks, neck rolls, lunges, push-ups, burpees, leg swings, air squats. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different dynamic exercises that you can have clients do. In your module this week, I have posted several ideas and examples of complete dynamic warm-ups. So I have one from the Firefighters Association about how they would get warmed up. I have another one from NSCA of how you would get warmed up before a strength training exercise. I have some senior tips for training seniors and how you would create an appropriate dynamic warm-up for them as well. Okay, so tons and tons of resources for you, as well as an assignment that you are going to pick and make a dynamic warm-up. You're going to pick your person, whether it's an athlete or an individual getting ready to do just a fun athletic event, an individual getting ready to work out in the gym. Variety of options for you. You're just going to pick a person, create a dynamic warm-up for them, and then you're going to post. You're going to do a little video and post it. So please look further down in the module for more examples, and I look forward to watching all of your dynamic videos.